And now let's discuss about how to turn 25 million rupiah into a billion rupiah through the power of compounding. Already with us is a financial enthusiast, Dani Rachmat. Mas Dani, please join me here. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good.
Great.
So apparently on the upper level, they need 5.37 billion rupiah. But for today, we're going to discuss how we're going to get to that first billion rupiah.
First billion rupiah.
So what is the way that you can save up, let's say, 25 million rupiah today, and then that end up gonna become a 1 billion rupiah in the future?
I'm afraid that the only answer is to invest it.
Okay.
So that if you only have 25 million rupiah, and then you want to make it a billion without doing anything, so yeah, you have to find someone or something that can grow that 25 million into 1 billion, right?
All right.
Or unless you want to work very hard to get to that 1 billion rupiah.
Well, as much as we like to work, not a lot of jobs can pay us up to that point. So one of the things that we're going to talk about today is actually about compounding, which is CAGR. What is CAGR and what's the formula we're looking at right now?
Compound annual growth rate. This misconception that people have is that they just divide the end value. We use this formula to show the growth of an instrument.
Okay.
People often simplistically calculate the end of the end value of an instrument with the beginning value, and then just -1. They thought that there is a growth, and that can be misleading because the result can be very big.
Okay.
So we have to see this CAGR formula because this shows the average compounding annual growth rate of an instrument.
Okay, so there's a A that is the
annual growth rate
on
on an instrument. So we see the end value of an instrument divided by the beginning value. What do we call this? Pangkat in Indonesia.
A power to.
Yes, power to 1 per. This is the period of time.
Period of time.
10 years, 20 years, we see the.
All right, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. Some of the stocks today is worth 10,000 rupiah per 10,000 rupiah per share.
Yes, per share.
And then they're back in the days.
Back in the 20 years ago.
20 years ago. So
only
this
200
is 20.
rupiah. Yes.
So we are only talking about
200 rupiah.
200 rupiah.
Yes, around 200 rupiah.
Around 200 rupiah. So this is the calculation. We look at the current price. 20 years period, how much they cost, and then that's where we're going to find
20 years ago, yes.
So what do you do with the CAGR once you get that numbers?
Once we get this number, we have several instruments. You will choose which instrument that provide you with the biggest numbers.
Provide you with the biggest numbers.
With the biggest numbers, because you want your asset to grow as much as possible. So you have to get the biggest CAGR number to grow your asset.
All right.
But then you have to be very careful because here, 20 years, we see in the very long period of time, right? But maybe there are also some instruments that can provide way bigger CAGR formula, but only in 6 years.
Okay.
So this also plays a very important role because the longer the period, meaning that instruments here. That instrument is tested more through the times.
All right. So again, with 6
more
years,
sustainable.
With 6 years, you probably haven't seen the crisis yet or anything like that. So we cannot really judge by what's ahead. But like if we are like 6 years, that's what we can calculate. So is this the formula that we use to get from 25 million
into 1 billion?
Into 1 billion.
Yes.
So how do we get to this number? Like how do we get from 25 to 1 billion?
We can calculate. Of course, the future performance cannot be determined by the past performance because past performance is not a guarantee that they can perform well. But throughout 20 years, an instrument can show that they can provide you with 20% of CAGR. So we can expect with the same business, with the same market share, with the same demographic in their business, they can reach that.
Okay, so let me make sure again. So let's say I put 25 million.
Yes.
And then to get to 1 billion, we have you have to have the CAGR of how many percent?
Of around 20%.
Around 20% of CAGR. Yes. So the numbers that we're looking for is it's 20%.
Around 20%.
For how many years?
For 20 years.
For 20 years.
So if you will have your pension like in 56, you can start to invest 25 million in your 30s, 36,
like
37, yes, mid-30s.
And then this is all you need to start with, 25 million.
Just put it there, do nothing, and buy the correct instrument.
I'm sorry, you're saying do nothing. I don't have to take my dividend and put it back to the stock?
That will make it, that will make your investment grow even further.
Okay, so it's either make it faster or it's gonna make it bigger?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Of course.
All right, so let's look at some of your examples. So this is actually some of the companies that actually exist in Indonesia.
I have to say the disclaimer, no recommendation here, only for the example purpose and discussion purpose.
All right, so again, for people at home, this is only for example of what has been we've seen in the past.
In the past.
Again, it's what in the past, it not guarantee in the future, disclaimer on. All right, so we're gonna look at several companies here. We got PANI, we have BCA, BRPT, BRI. We have consumers. You have Ultrajaya, you have telecommunication,
Telkom, we have also
and mining Adaro. But not all of them actually started 20 years, over 20 years. Some of them only
exist 20 years ago in the market. So like PANI, I can only find the data back to September 18, and then for the Adaro, June 08.
08, all right.
So yeah, 20 years for the rest of them.
All right, so when we say CAGR, so we calculated again, what's the number here?
What's the number there? Sorry.
This one against 21, and then power to the 6, and then -1, and then you get 197%. In 6 years, 197%.
In 6 years, the CAGR, this stock grow like 197% per year. So that the question is, can we get this for the next 20 years?
So in other words, if you have 25 million 6 years ago,
we put it here.
And today it will be worth $1 billion.
Yes.
Rupiah. All right. Interesting. Now, again, we don't know, like, because we're starting today, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 6. We don't even know what's going to happen next year.
We didn't even know what happened today 6 years ago or 20 years ago. So today's data we cannot say that I should invest in this 20 years ago. No, that's already too late. The second best time is today.
But lesson learned. So 6 years, we already seen they already gone through COVID.
Yes.
Now, it's more interestingly, let's look at some of the other companies, because 20 years, we're talking about
COVID-19, the closest one is COVID, wars and everything.
And then we see it 2008 crisis, but we didn't see the 98 crisis, because we started in 2004. All right, so let's take a look at 2004. So BCA back then cost around 272. Again, adjusted after the stock split and everything like that. And today is around 10,000.
10,000.
So in other words, so if you invested when it prices at 272, it's gonna cost, you're gonna worth about around 10,000.
So if you have 25 million, but maybe 25 million 20 years ago, it's not 25 million today, right?
Yes.
So you will already have 1 billion by now.
Okay, but again, it will take you 20 years.
20 years, yes.
Which money that, you don't have to do anything with it. And
actually, 20 years is not that long. Because 20 years back, I was like, what, 22.
Okay.
So
when you're 22, could you actually save 25 million?
No, not yet. Unfortunately, not yet. But nowadays, many 22 years old people can do that.
But again, with the inflation, 1 billion by the time is probably not going to be like 1 billion.
Yes, of course. But of course, if you just do nothing, you will get 1 billion, even though not that much as today's. But then you will still have a lot more asset.
Yes. Well, you have 1 billion that you can just play with, like you don't have to do anything. All right, so the next thing is we're going to talk about investment performance. So what am I looking at here?
This is if we save that 25 million and using that CAGR for the next 20 years, what will you get?
Okay.
So this is, we are talking about dividend here. This is dividend yield and the result for 20 years without calculating dividend. So with 197% per year, you will get what, 70,000 trillion.
75,000 trillion rupiah if you in the next 20 years. Yeah. If the CAGR, CAGR stays. A big if again, disclaimer on, if the CAGR stay at 197%,
we have to know what is the business, what are they
what the future's gonna look like.
What the future's gonna look like. Will they have this kind of performance in the next 20 years? So I'm not gonna say that is unlikely, but there are so many factors there.
Yes.
But for the rest, I mean, I believe that the 5 stocks after that, 20 years, right? Adaro is 16 years. Yeah. For the rest, 5, like BBCA, we will get 935 million. Very close to 1 billion, actually.
But on BRI and Ultra Jaya, you actually, I don't want to say only, but you're getting around 400 million.
But please note that BBRI on 3rd of December, the price is still
it's dropping.
On dip.
For those at home, why are we getting these numbers, not like the higher numbers? BRI actually already hit one of their highest this year, around 6,400.
Yes.
Which is today, they
and then dropped around 20%, right?
Year to date. That's why the number is quite low.
But
like
15,
if we actually look at
only 15. 15 is already big.
It's big.
Already big, but
we're not gonna get that billion if we put 25 with the numbers currently.
With the number,
But that's a whole different discussion because that's the kind of price.
Yeah, but then, if the price, investing is you buy low, right?
Yes.
So if a price of a very good company is discounted, so maybe there is the sign for you to buy, so that you can get that 20% for the next 20 years.
For ladies out there, if you're confused, if they're Hermes or is that Louis Vuitton that on discount right now, this is what we're talking about. This is this discounted price.
Will you not buy that Louis Vuitton 20% off?
Maybe. I'm still not going to buy it. I don't know the idea. But anyway, what are the risks? What are the risks? Like, how can you find, like, why can somebody just buy on BCA? What could be the risk of, like, getting to that?
The risk will be that if the company cease to exist, or maybe they fail to innovate, they fail to grow their business, they fail to fulfill the market demand. I mean, in Indonesia, in banking industry, there are so many changes, right?
Yes.
So with these many changes, which bank that can fulfill that customer's demand?
So knowing what's the future's hold, well, have an idea. You don't know what's gonna be. Okay. So it's a matter of like the company needs to be able to grow.
They need to be able to grow. They need to be able to maintain their business with the current rate of growth, and then the regulatory and everything. You also have to take that to consideration.
All right, Mas Dani, thank you so much. That's how you can get, for those people at home, if you're wondering like, how can somebody grow that 25 million into 1 billion? Again, it might take 20 years. Some might take you 6 years. But again, all that depending on like how the compounding works and then all that stuff. Again, disclaimer on, for all of you who want to buy or sell any of these stocks, please consult with your financial consultant. That was our conversation on compounding for Today Business Talk. You can stay connected with us on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Our handle is @CTodayNews. We're also available online at ctodaynews.com. Stay connected.